Phones for them, I trust. They're on the lapel. Oh, you guys
yeah.
get lapel mics. My goodness, isn't that fancy?
That's right.
All right, take a seat.
You here?
This is no pain tonight. This is just fun.
Oh, it's funny you're talking about the climb the fence, and it's actually a true story.
Isn't this great? I don't even have to ask a question.
Yeah, no, it's funny.
Yeah, actually, he has not asked a question
I know,
yet.
no, but I just want to follow up on that because I was a little lost. You know, I was supposed to go to the pits in Detroit when I won, and I was obviously excited. As you guys see, I'm not too excited when I'm going out there. And then all of a sudden I was like celebrating, yeah, and I actually looking for you because normally you're waiting, to do the interview. I was like, where is that old man? I mean, I'm looking for that old man. Where is he at?
And I was old then?
Well, and then I realized that I have to do something different, and that's why I ended up climbing the fence. So.
Was that a spur of the moment thing?
Yeah, no, I'm dead serious. I was waiting for the TV crew, waiting for the team, and all of a sudden I realized that I did the wrong thing. I was supposed to go to the pits because I remember the drivers' meeting, and my fellow drivers here know that I sometimes...
You always ask 400 questions.
I don't pay attention very well.
Still didn't pay attention.
And obviously that was one of those things, and I looked at the crowd was going crazy, and I said, you know what, let me just go over there and cover for the mistake that I did. Turned out to be a great way to celebration, so it was cool.
Let's talk a little bit about how this friendship came about. South America, teenagers, you competed in karts, one thing or another. What was the genesis of this friendship, and did you have any inkling in those early years that you might be buddies and competitors for years and years to come?
We're not buddies.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Not buddies?
This is acting only.
Oh, okay.
It's just for IndyCar to promote.
They needed to do something, so we just...
No, the funny thing is when I'm from
He's a hillbilly.
A hillbilly, yes, thank you. A redneck, from Brazil. And Tony is the city boy, but he was already racing. So when I actually went to São Paulo to start racing, which is 1987, so I obviously don't know anybody and start driving. And as I'm coming back to the, different races, and all of a sudden, unfortunately, Tony's dad passed away, and my dad bumped into him and said, hey, listen. And I remember vividly my dad talking to him. And
It was actually, we met the day that my dad passed. My dad passed on a Thursday night, and his wish before he passed, he actually had asked me not to give up racing. So I had a race that weekend. So Friday morning I woke up and I went to the track. And his dad was the first guy to come talk to me and, to say that he was sorry. And obviously, we met then, and we became whatever we want to call friends, brothers. We love and hate each other at times.
And from that time, because I knew that he was already racing and he was already winning, and I'm like, man, I want to be friends with this guy.
I was just cool.
Yeah, you were cool, actually. And he's still with the big nose, but he's still cool. But
doesn't matter. I told you.
You
Back
did.
then,
you
you
did.
said
you
you're
did.
prettier than me. I said, once we win, we be rich. It does not matter.
And then after that, every time I was going to São Paulo, he's like, why don't you stay in my place? And Tony, as we all know here, very friendly. And after that, I actually was going to stay in his place, and we became good friends. His mom used to take us to the race, and turned out to be, instead of I'm living in São Paulo, still living 150 miles away, but every time on the weekend, I still go in there, just like a neighbor, stay here in my house, and that was actually, that's where the foundation started.
Tony, how did it come about that you both ended up coming to the United States and ended up going to Columbus and Tasman Motorsports?
It was funny because obviously we raced together in go-karts, and then Formula Chevrolet, which was a series in Brazil. And then I went to Italy. Helio still spent a couple more years in Brazil. Then he went to England. So I said, finally, I get this guy out of my case. And stop, he was
separable is still
such a
parallel.
hard time, yeah. And I remember at the end of '95, Philip Morris Brazil decided that they were going to bring a Brazilian team. They wanted to build a Brazilian team in America, and they were going to do a test of, I think, 8 to 10 guys between Brazilians and Latin Americans. And actually it was right here in Phoenix, in Firebird East. And they called me in Italy and they said, look, the CEO of Philip Morris says, we're going to have a test. It's the best Indylights team, and we're going to sponsor 2 drivers. We're going to do a gong show between 10 drivers. And I said, who's coming? They said, well, Helio's coming. I'm like, come on, man. So we came. I spoke zero English, not that I do better now, but came here. Me and Dario, actually, I never had been to the States before. I was telling Chip that story, and then we did the test, and Steve Horn, Dario actually had a broken rib at the time, which I was kind of glad at the time because he was really in pain and he could not go fast enough. But typical Dario, I mean, I was the fastest, and even him, he only did 3 laps in that test, and I think he was within 2 or 3 tenths of my lap, which impressed the hell out of Steve, and we got the job. Right? We both got the job, and we both got to go live in Columbus, Ohio, which...
Wow.
Well, I have a story about that, by the way.
Wow.
There
That was something.
There are plenty of stories,
Yeah.
but it was time to go. We went back to Brazil. We had New Year's. They finally said, Steve, pick the both of you. You guys can come back to America. I buy my ticket to Columbus, Ohio. Dario bought his tickets to Columbus, Georgia. And I landed, and Shelly was there, and a couple of the guys went to pick us up and said, where is Dario? Where is Dario? I said, I don't know. Dario calls us as well. I'm here, guys. Where are you? I said, well, we're here. So basically, he was...
Why are you guys going to have so many? It's 3 Columbus, I guess, correct? Ohio, Georgia, and one more.
I don't know. I came
Yeah,
to the right
I
one.
found
so I
out
don't
that day that was 3 Columbus. And
And that's when our journey there started. We had a lot of fun. It was
How intimidating was that? Young guys coming to a different country on your own.
I mean, we already actually had lived out of the
we
country.
passed that phase going through Europe. You know, I'm going to England.
I was actually so miserable back in Italy. I lived in the race shop for 3 years. Dario was always the rich guy. I have to say, he had his own car, he had his own house. So which happened in Columbus again. I only had a bicycle, and he still had a Johnny 5.
You had a studio.
I had a.
You didn't want to buy a car, by the way. I did buy a car. It was 1978, the car. It was a Toyota Cressida. And deluxe, by the way. It was deluxe.
Remember the seatbelt?
Yeah, the
I thought the seatbelt was going to choke me every time I sat in that car.
It was deluxe. And when I bought it, I remember today, I bought for $1,500, which I think I paid.
Rich guy. $1,500 was so much money.
But I didn't want to, I knew there was some noise going on. And I said, something is not right. And I remember pressing the brakes, and it wasn't stopping very well. So I asked one of the mechanics, it's like, hey, how do I change the brakes on this car?
No, shut up. You wanted to buy new brake pads. You didn't want to spend the money. So you had the brilliant idea to get the used Indylights pads, and we could cut it at the same shape.
But it didn't work. I tried.
Oh, well, we know that.
Yeah. So I end up buying. He didn't help me, actually, by the way.
I was just laughing because
Yeah,
it was so stupid.
So I did change the brakes on the car. True story. I did change the brakes of the car. I don't know how I didn't die, by the way. The car did stop. The car lasted for 6 months. And I ended up...
more than that. It was a year, no?
Well, it was the whole season that we were there. So it's about 8 months. And then I ended up sending it to one of my mechanics. And obviously, when he got it, I sold for $300. And not a good investment, as you can see.
You want to talk about your jeans? Remember?
Hold on, let me finish the story first.
Oh, I thought it was done. Johnny 5 was dead.
No, then when the guy finally got the car, and he did have problem with the brakes, so it must be the driver, must be because I never had it, and the trunk was full of water. Anyway, the point is, it was bad. The car was junk. So, but I did have a car, but it wasn't like.
He was the rich guy. He would come pick me up, and we'll go to the shop, and then we had a LCI as a sponsor, which was a phone company, and we spent the whole day on the phone calling Brazil because it was free until Steve kicked us out.
The perks of big-time auto racing. How about the video games you guys used to play? Yeah, wasn't there a movie theater, a lobby that was just short distance from the shop?
I mean, I don't know how many of you are from Ohio or Columbus, Ohio, but back then, or maybe now, I'm not sure, but there was not much what to do there.
There was nothing.
And if so, I was being polite. And so we found a place right around the corner that was a movie theater, and they have the game things, and that. So we went watch the movie. But before we were going to watch the movie, we spent actually 1 or maybe 3 hours
More than that.
in one of those machines. So in fact, the per diem that Steve Horn used to give it to us, so we used to save the money. Instead of going to the McDonald's or something like that, well, it was actually not.
No, it was you. Don't
It was
include
me.
me on that because I actually wanted to eat healthy.
Oh, McDonald's, yeah, that's great. So
It's a very healthy, isn't it, Chip? McDonald's is the best sponsor we can have.
okay, sorry.
So, Helio, we used to love when we had to go on the road for like 6 or 7 days because it was like $25 a day. So we would get an envelope
Super
full of
cool.
cash. Helio would eat out of the vending machine.
Yes.
And not with that money. He would go around the shop. You know when you have loose coins? And he would just, oh, do you have a coin? And he would eat all weekend long out of those, the coins and out of the machines, the vending machines, not to spend the money.
It's all about saving.
And we spend the money playing video
Playing
games.
the video game.
Use your money wise. So anyway, so we ended up actually getting the money, and we then used to spend like $15, $20 on, and it was back then it was just a quarter. So imagine we're spending a lot.
Remember
of
when
times.
you pretended you're gonna cook that freaking chicken?
Yeah, man, you're going ahead of the game here.
That's
So in the end, two machines have the records. One was TK and the other one was HCN. So
but 1 through 10. It wasn't like
It was-
Had them all, had them covered.
So we blow the record. So I double dare you guys to go to Columbus in Dublin, Ohio, and trying to find those machines and beat
Turtle
our record.
Crossing. That was the mall.
That was very
Remember that?
good. And now we do.
Let's take a look at a video clip, just a snippet here of Indylights action with these two for Tasman and Steve Horn. How good was that as a springboard
Wow.
to Indy cars?
Well, that was everything. It was the base. At the time, I tell you that it was very nerve-wracking because Steve made sure that to make us better, to keep our rivalry extremely high. So we had the best cars in the series, but Steve kept pushing us, and he kept saying, when we signed the contract, he looked at both of us and he says, one of you guys are going to make to IndyCar. Only one.
Yeah.
And you have it's a 2-year deal. You're going to learn the first year. And if you don't win the championship, one of you or the two of you don't win the championship in the second year, you guys all going to go home back to Brazil to do whatever. So we like each other, but we kind of, we went head to head. So he made me better. I hate to say it.
That was good memories. I have to say, looking at that, it was great memories. My first win in Trois Riviera was really cool because, it's going against this guy, you got to really push it. But in the end of the day, the same way he made me better. And it was really cool. I do remember actually.
Remember our outlaps?
In 1997, we were battling for the championship, by the way. This is a true story. And I have to win, and he had to finish about, I think, 3rd or 4th. So one point I was winning, and he was about 6, 7, so I was winning the championship. Unfortunately, yellow, whatever happens, I didn't win. So, but when we're doing the cool down lap, I look into his car, like going to thumbs up to him, hey, well done. And then I look at to the hula hoop. Is that what you call hula? Anyway, the top here.
The what?
The
The roll cage.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you got it.
You still don't speak English after all
Exactly.
these years.
Every car that's good has got a hula hoop. I mean, we all know that.
I know some hoop there. And anyway, it was something stuck on over there. I was like, what is that? Back then, we didn't have a hands device, so we used to use those collars on the go-kart neck, and I didn't quite understand, So after everything, I was like, dude, what happened? I saw something stuck on top of your car. What was that? Well, man, I gotta be honest. I said, what? When I saw you winning, I was desperate. I got to throw some.
I need a yellow.
I need a yellow. So he took it out from his neck,
But the thing didn't fly off. And
The
got
thing is
on the
stuck.
frickin-
I'm like, you
And-
cheater!
and-
You are
No,
a cheater!
I never got the yellow.
I know you did, but
Never got the yellow.
that's the guy.
And then, I mean, for 3 laps, I'm looking around. I'm like, guys. That was
He won fair and square, but he did have the intention.
Had to
I
try.
tell you that.
had to try.
When you made the step then from Indylights to IndyCars, was it like the realization of a dream?
It was cool. The first test, remember that in Firebird? Steve, okay, you too. He won the championship, but he also gave me a chance to go and test the car. And till this day, I remember we did, I think it was about 300 of a second between. I think you were faster 300 or something like that. We were really, really close.
I don't remember.
And it was actually awesome. You know, it was really cool. And obviously, because he won the championship and was very clear, whoever would take, he would go there. So
He was already driving my car.
Tony, I think your microphone slipped down there. Yeah, that is,
Hello?
There you go.
He was already driving my car that I had signed my contract, and I was mad about it again. But
It definitely, well, Indylights prepare us for something like that. And but I was glad I was able to find Bittenhausen and end up running 98 with them, and we end up back again. Continue racing against each other.
It was special for sure. I mean, especially the whole story that we had back in the days. And I remember, one of the nights that we talked about was racing, right? So in go-karts, and we said if one day one of us make it, because we never thought the two of us were going to make it. Says the other one is going to hire.
This is in his apartment, by the way, Mama's apartment. That when we were.
Do not say. You already said it got us in trouble.
One day we said we were polishing the
No,
helmets.
we said. No, you
I
said.
said polishing the helmets together. It was a double. It wasn't.
No,
that.
it is. It wasn't. It still is.
We were really polishing the
So I was
helmets.
cleaning my helmet, my racing
It came
helmet.
out wrong one interview that we had, but
When I used to clean helmets 50K back in
But we did
his
say-
bedroom, I'm like,
it was funny. But we did say that day, it was like, one day whoever make it, we're gonna
gonna
carry.
hire the other guy to be the helmet boy, whatever, and we actually
Carrier. Not polishing, just carrying, you know. So.
not
What was the
polishing
learning
helmet.
curve like when you took that step? What was the learning curve like?
It was hard, I think, especially, we made the move. We were extremely lucky. Back in the day, it was, for some reason, we both were able to move up. But it was two very small teams searching for results. And we're like, racing against big names. It was Al Jr., Paul Tracy, Dario, and all these guys that you just watch on TV and you're like, whoa, it was intimidating, for
Who did you
sure.
turn to? I mean, did you have mentors? Were there people you looked up to that helped you?
Me, I had Steve Horn, because he was my team owner at the time. I think he taught Elio a lot, but at the time, I remember Zanardi, obviously, I knew Zanardi from back my days in Italy, so he gave me a little bit of an insight, and then by default, Jimmy was a guy that, helped me out, and then we became, obviously, Dario, myself, Max, Greg. I had great friends that definitely, they made me feel, I was not the new guy, but, back then, in '98, the only competition I had was him. We had to go for the Rookie of the Year, and I didn't care. I remember coming into the pits, actually still nowadays, even when you're having a bad day, even if I'm 19th, I know it sucks, but if he's 20th, that makes me feel a little bit better.
How about you, Elio? Who did you turn to?
Well, I remember back then I went to Gilles de Ferran because 1995 when I was in England, that's when I met him before. In fact, Dario and I were teammates for one day, actually, if you guys don't know that. 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I was walking into post-tour racing, and I saw Dario coming out, and one of the guys said, oh, this is going to be your teammate. Well, when he was walking through, actually, he was just saying that he's going to race in DTM in Germany. And So basically,
Lucky you.
yeah, he was. He would be. You see, you could be Tony, man. See what you miss.
As we all know, one of the great things of
But I was intimidated.
Can you let him? Like,
Sorry, no, but I remember that because I was intimidated by Paul Tracy.
the chrome horn.
Well, yeah, watching him racing, and he's really aggressive, but he always crashed. And I was like, I hope one day he doesn't crash me. No, but it's a true story. We were in Toronto, and I remember Tony Bettenhausen saying, I think it was between top 10 or something like that, and he made a mistake, and I passed him, and I'm like, yes, okay, great. So all of a sudden, I see the green cars coming, and Tony Bettenhausen like, hey, Paul Tracy's coming, man. Paul Tracy's coming. I was like, I know, man. I don't know what to do now, man. So in turn one, he just put the nose like, go, man. You go. I don't.
see, you were smarter than me.
Well, actually, 3 laps.
That same race, Vancouver was.
It was Toronto, but 3 laps later he crashed. So I was like, yes.
PT scarred me for life on that Vancouver race because it was, obviously he took me out under the green flag, but he hit me 3 times under the yellow. And I thought I was just seeing things. I'm like trying to save fuel, and my car went, I was like, what did I hit? And thanks, PT.
I remember in
Miss you, bro.
Laguna as well, Laguna Seca, I was in the pit lane. And remember Laguna was always full of elevations. And coming out of the pits, I were like, kind of like I was behind him. And I'm like, I'm gonna pass him because I know it's gonna be a problem if I stay behind him. So all of a sudden, one of the elevation made my car turn, and I literally took him out in the pit lane.
Payback.
And I'm like, man, he's gonna kill me. But thank God he. Because you call, you know what happened.
You deserve it.
And for those who may be watching while they're streaming, and I don't know if you could hear Paul, he was saying how he got taken out, but he was fined $50,000 for that action. One of the beauties of the IndyCar series, you run on super speedways, you run on the short ovals like this weekend here at Phoenix, you run on the permanent road courses, the temporary street circuits. What do you each consider your strong suit?
I would say for me, for some reason, in the first 2 years that I came to the series, I was really bad on the mile ovals, and I started that lasted 98 and 99 in Milwaukee. And actually I got told by an engineer that maybe ovals were not my thing. And I guess I had to prove this person. No, it was not Eric. If it was Eric, he wouldn't be here. I'm not going to mention names, but I think obviously I succeed a lot, and I feel really comfortable in the mile ovals, short ovals, and ovals actually which is amazing because it was in my background.
How about you, Helio?
Yeah, I kind of enjoy the ovals as well, but I think my strength, I think it's street course, and a little bit of short ovals are pretty darn good, and but it's obviously
Then road courses, you're just saying you're good at everything.
Well, you said it. No, road course, I still get in there, but I tell you, I enjoy really much Indianapolis. Indianapolis is a type of place that is a short oval road street course. It's kind of like really difficult to put it together. It looks easy, but it's not. So probably, yeah, Indy probably is one of the places I feel very comfortable.
Combining all of these different elements, and Tony, you won a championship, I think it was in 2004. You were contending for a championship 2 years later, and it hasn't always been peaches and cream between these guys. And I want to show you a video clip of Chicagoland in 2006.
Oh, man.
And I don't know if I'm going to have to get between the two of them or not, but let's see what the video says here.
Helio Castroneves is on the move, guys, trying to get his way back to the lead pack.
Tell Tony to help me out here. 10-4. Mine's working on it.
Whoa! And he just got passed for position. Helio's 100% back in it now.
That chain of circumstances led to, I guess I could safely say, a strained relationship between you two. What happened? Tell us about it.
Depends. Who are you going to ask first? Who We didn't speak for 2.5 years after that.
I think that
Actually,
qualifies as a strained relationship.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we never talked about it.
No, and it's probably not going to be tonight. I tell you one thing. It was.
You want to talk about it?
No, I tell you one thing. It was, as you can see, I was getting very angry. I was trying to you gotta. We're not going
You
anywhere.
were trying, no, you did.
I have to do something. I gotta come back, and unfortunately, that was not the issue that not winning the championship, but certainly it put us a little back behind on the curveball there for the championship. But in the end of the day, it was. I
we
guess
just hold down. We don't care.
the rivalry got into him and myself, and a little more into him, But and I was mad. I was really mad.
I'll tell you my version.
I'm not gonna talk to you. I'm super mad, and that's it. And from there on, it was really weird, to be honest. Going down the pit lane. I mean, come on.
No, the photo. I remember we had a photo shoot to do in Daytona, and they typical because you're not talking to each other. The photographer goes, "Okay, Tony Helio, you guys right beside each other. You guys can walk," and it was so awkward because.
So it was really.
He cannot laugh. Like he laughs all the
Yeah.
time, and I'm like, it was stupid. But I think what happened there. Helio had the best version. We talked about this a couple times, but he says, which I have to probably ask my wife about that I'm or my best friends, they're sitting in that table, I don't apologize very often. And he says that, obviously he wasn't expecting me to apologize for what happened. But there, I think I was not going for the championship. I was out of the championship hunt. So what he was saying there for me to help him out was like not to give him as much of a hard time. And in a track like that, in a pack race that we used to be, running side by side was the least what you wanted it to do. And I made sure that I ran enough that he was not going to catch. I don't remember who was leading. It made him really mad. And we actually never talked about it unless actually is in public like this. And we just one day, I don't even remember how, we just started talking again like nothing had happened.
I think it was really weird because, again, time obviously passed by, and I'm like, you know what? It's already over, so let's just move on.
And when we picked up one day, we just said hi to each other, and we picked up from where we left off.
And we're glad you did. All right, let's leave that in the shadows over here in the back alley. Fan question posed by Betsy. We know you're gifted drivers, athletes, and fathers. What are you not good at? Tony, do you want to kick that off?
Math. As you can see, 2009, when I was going through my ordeal, it was like people saying like, yeah, you're the bad guy. I was like, I don't even know how to make a math here. I don't know how to make counts. What are you guys talking about? And when my daughter comes, says, Dad, help me out on math. She said, like, talk to your mom. Go talk to your mom.
I'm not sure. I'm not saying I'm good at I probably apologizing sometimes it's hard.
How about you, Helio?
What I'm not good at it. I'm always trying to, I'm always thinking somebody's wearing my shoes, in what situation it would be. So I'm always worried about what people are going to think instead of like, you know what, this is the right way or the wrong way. So I should be more like, you know what, just be a little more selfish and think in your own way. So I wish I would be better on that. Those are the things that I thought.
Interesting. Speaking, we mentioned Steve Horn a bit earlier in Tasman Motorsports and how incremental he was in the development of the amazing careers of these two. We've got some video here from Steve down under. Let's check it out.
Hello, Helio and Tony. 20 years in IndyCar racing. 20 years, really, that is just unbelievable. But seriously, guys, you've had a fantastic career to date. Multiple Indy 500 wins, championship wins, lots and lots of race wins. Hey, even Dancing with the Stars. And Tony is a triathlete of extraordinary ability. It's been really fun watching your careers evolve as the years have gone by. And I always think back to our first days out at the famous Gong Show at Firebird Raceway. Helio, Remember when you went out there to do your initial 10 laps and you came in, I think, after 5 or 6 and stopped in the pit lane, and I thought, what's wrong with Helio? Took your helmet off and you were actually in tears. I didn't realise, and you hadn't told anybody, you had some severely bruised ribs from an accident the week before, and you just couldn't stand the pain. And you thought you'd blown the deal, but I could see straight away that you were going to be extremely fast and was going to be one of our drivers. Tony, you went out and, as has been proven, your first outlap was faster than anybody else. Your braking was definitely way deeper than anybody else, and instantly again I could see within 2 or 3 laps you were going to be one of on our team. We had a couple of great years in Indylights, lots of fun on the track and a few off-track discussions about how to deal with your teammates. One famous one for me that I always remember and love telling the story now is Toronto. Both of you on the front row, and we sat down before the race and decided that whoever led into the first corner would lead the first lap, but by the time you got to the end of the back straight, that deal had been broken big time. Both of you in the wall. There was only one corner left on 2 cars, and I was really upset, not only with the expense, but the fact that we'd blown a lot of championship points. I remember you were both walking down the pit lane towards me, saw the look on my face and turned away. But we had a great run together. For me, it was a fantastic experience. Tony, you moved up to IndyCar with us, and Helio, we managed to twist our dear friend Tony Bettenhausen's arm to get you a drive, and look where you are today. So it's just been a fantastic thing for myself and for Christine, and look forward to many more years watching you race, and we'll be watching this weekend.
Oh, that was awesome.
That's nice.
Oh.
That was
That
really
nice.
cool. That was a tough one, actually.
Yeah,
walking back.
Steve was tough, and then actually the guy that hit Helio was myself. Helio was on the pole, I was second, and it was a brain fade. And I did not win, definitely, like, we walked back and I saw his face. I went straight to my rental car, and Steve was that type of guy, I remember, remember that dinner? We went to dinner at his house, the first dinner we had. And we sat at the table, it was just the 2 of us, Christine and himself, and we had the meal, we ate, and it was time for dessert. He stood up, and I thought he had gone to the bathroom, remember, and he never came back.
He went to sleep.
He went to bed without saying anything, so that was Steve for you. I'm like, Christina, should we wait? No, he went to bed. I'm like, how about a good
wow.
night? Yeah. But
Sweet dreams.
That was Steve. Sweet dreams, bro.
Well, we had the fan question from Betsy. We heard from Steve Horn. There's a member out in the audience who I believe is seated at this table right over here who would like to come forward and pose a question for you two. So, unnamed person
Oh, boy.
coming out of the shadows. Oh, look, it's Dario Franchitti.
Different kitty.
You want to take this microphone?
Thanks, Gary. Good evening, everybody. Oh, TK, you look very smart.
Thank you.
Kind of surprised.
Well,
Yeah, normally.
Helio.
I know, this is my wife's
Nice to
pants.
meet
you.
My wife's pants. I
If we
understand
had to
that.
talk about before the event, why do you think I came like that? Because you expect him to be in a tie or in
Very
a tux,
un-Penske-like,
or
huh?
Yeah, is Roger, are you watching this on Facebook?
Yeah. What's up with that, man?
Cindric,
It's Puma.
I mean,
it's our sponsor. So
is-
as you can see,
Yeah.
this
it's
is
our
not
sponsor.
Penske material right here. Huh?
So, most of the stories I have about Kanaan, well, we can't really talk about because we're on Facebook. Tony's wife's in the audience, so
She knows.
no, she doesn't.
Well, it depends.
So, we don't want to talk the retirement word. Everybody talks to you about retirement, but when you guys retire, because 20 years now, Chilton was 6 when you started in IndyCar.
Wow.
Colton Herta
Wasn't even born.
wasn't even born.
Oh, man.
So what are you guys going to do? Obviously, you're going to do your Vin Diesel tribute act. What are you going to do? What's retirement going to hold
I
eventually?
don't know. I might be selling cars. Right now, by the way, we have.
Oh, here we go.
We have a dealership in New Holland, Pennsylvania. If you guys want a good deal, talk to
What kind
me.
of cars do you sell?
It's Toyota, the Chrysler family, and Ford. So
It's good, huh?
It's pretty good. Yeah, no, it's
I'm gonna go when I retire. I'm gonna go work for Helio and his dealership.
which, by the way, Tom Wurz is working for us now. That's pretty good, huh? So anyway, and I think I'm gonna have to learn a little bit how to sell the cars, and hopefully, I do think I have the best teacher in house.
I'll talk to Chip and I'll just take your job.
No, you won't. Steve Horn said you still haven't learned. 20 years later, you still brake too late and too hard. Huh? So, Helio, the big question that we've all been asking, thinking about for years, what do you use in your hair?
He won't tell you.
I mean, really, right? It just never moved. It hasn't moved in 20 years.
It's a little long right now because the hairline is going backwards.
The
but,
forehead is getting bigger, but that's the curse of all of
I
us.
noticed that on the video.
Have you seen his dad?
Yes.
It's gonna be exactly the same.
I think.
What is it?
No, answer the
Which-
question.
Just answer the question.
Well,
What are you using?
I will if you let me.
Jeez.
In which sense? You mean the product?
Well, I'm not talking about the hair dye. 'Cause
Okay,
clearly, you know, I've got grey.
You got the gray.
TK's got grey. PT's got nothing but grey.
Doesn't look like gray.
No, he does. Because
He
it's
gave
gel
me
now,
most
but-
of them. But
Okay.
Come
Well,
on, what do you use?
there is a product called Bad-Headed, and it's kind of like
What?
Bad-Headed.
Bad-headed.
Yeah, it's kind of like a.
Guys, baby, do you know that? Do you know that product, Lauren?
Oh, bad head. Yeah, bad head. Sorry, I thought it was headed. As you can see, I'm literally. But anyway, it's a kind of a wax, and it's pretty simple. People think I spend half an hour taking care of my hair. Trust me, it takes about 30 seconds. You go like 1, 2, 3.
What is it? Is it like you put it in your hand?
No, it's just a tube and just a. You don't polish your helmet with that.
Got it.
Just
Got
tell
it.
you.
Got it.
Just a tube. Let's go like this, and
Got
that's it.
Simon, he's all yours, bro.
Yeah. Good luck with that, brother.
So anyway, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Nothing
Okay. I
more.
mean, honestly, TK, all the stories I have and the questions.
We cannot talk
No,
about
we
it.
can't. So, because there's always your turn next. So, and you made some threats to me earlier, so I'll just.
Yeah,
shut
you-
up.
No, please, I won't. Go ahead.
No.
you can
But
ask.
anyway, I just would like to say, 20 years, guys. I mean, really, really impressive, both of you, to be so successful and be so quick at such an old age. And I know, and I'm almost as old as you are, TK. TK, does anybody actually know how old TK is? Because he lies about his age. He's got his little buddy in the DMV in Miami who gives him like a 1975
Yeah, Carlos.
birthday. Carlos, he's got a name.
Every year he brings it back like 75, 76.
He's like, he should work for you. Can wind the odometer back in the car. As you shouldn't, because you've
No,
already
no,
had
no,
yourself.
no, don't even go there.
But yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, man.
It's been so
No,
fun to watch
I
you.
thank you, to be honest, because you being such a tough competitor, man, it was tough.
We had some
but-
fallouts too, didn't we?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we did. But I appreciate you also made me a much better driver. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you, boys.
Well, I can't, if I'm going to start talking
I'm not
about
talking to you
we're
anymore.
gonna
Shh,
spend 20
turn the
minutes,
microphone
so
down, please. Daniel, thank you.
I won't. But I love
Thank you,
know
guys.
that.
Thank you, Dario. We've touched on Indianapolis. Let's talk specifics about Indianapolis. And the first time you ran at the Big Oval, what was it like?
I did the year before I did, and actually,
Yeah,
one right,
I
I should
remember
go
coming
first.
back from Chicago race, and Gilles was supposed to test, but he broke his finger, and they said, okay, Helio, you go and do the test. And it wasn't with Team Penske, it was actually with Treadway team, and basically when I jumped in the car, I asked how was the lap time, and they said about Juan Pablo did a 2:24 on pole position or on pole day. And I'm like, all right, so no kind of like reference. And I remember I couldn't go more than a 190. And I'm like, man, this is really tough. And I remember turning the car, I was scared to turn. And I stopped in the pits, and I was like, something is really difficult to turn here. I don't know if the car will happen. It was also a different car. It was IRL back then from Champ Car. It was a little bit uncomfortable. So I keep 190, 194, and struggling. I said, guys, we better go to the pad because something's wrong. Well, back then we had the fax machines, and when they send the setup to the fax machine, one of the numbers was cut out on the front wing, and actually we have about 10% of front wing. So
that was perfect for Dixon.
it was for the.
It was be understeer for him.
I realized it was obviously it was so wrong. After they fixed that, I was able to, okay, back to the 220 and to 218 and things like that. And I was like, phew. So I guess for me, it was really intimidating the first time when I was there, and probably was a good thing, because and then I respect this place till this day.
Tony, what was it like, what is it like when you're out there practicing, you're out there qualifying, and then race day, you've got a full field of 33, and that massive humanity, and you look down into turn one, and you know you got to maybe hold that thing to the floor, and all the turbulence from all the cars. How much different is that than when you're just out there running laps, getting comfortable with the setup?
That's something that I don't know if I'll be able to describe for somebody that hasn't been part of the race, because I couldn't understand that the first year. You know, when my first year was 2002, and I remember people saying that to me. You know, like, this track will be different. It'll be different when you walk into Gasoline Alley race day. The grandstands are gonna be full, and you see. To me, the track was so much narrower race day with all these people in the grandstands, and then. I was lucky. I started in the second row, so I didn't have that much turbulence, which I know because I started that last few years later, and that is turbulence. But that place it's special. It's magical. I kept saying over the years, it's the track picks the winner. It's like, it doesn't matter what you have, how good or how bad it is during the month, during the race. It doesn't matter. All of a sudden, things take a turn, and it's either there or not. And I had my fair share of not, but you know, it's magical. It's you know, I remember because I had promised myself. I remember I used to watch that race with my dad, and you know, dreaming about winning. And so when I first came to America, the series already had split, and I promised that I was not going to actually put my foot inside the speedway if I was not going to race. And the first time I did it was in 2002, because I was going to race.
That was your first time?
Oh yeah, I hadn't seen the speedway, obviously on TV, but not. No, I promised I was not going to go in if I was not going to drive.
We know there's drama on race day, of course. Sometimes there's drama in qualifying, and we've got a video clip here from 2003. Brutally windy, crosswind, nasty conditions, and you two guys had one amazing shootout for the pole. Let's look at it.
Awesome.
We have crosswinds up to 30 miles an hour, and that could be cause for concern by a number of these drivers.
Tony Kanaan, time to crank it up. Off of 4, main straightaway. Here comes the checkered flag for Tony Kanaan. He did it. Tony Kanaan grabs the pole position. Hey boys, we're back, guys. We're back. Coming at us, and the checkered flag is out. He's on the pole.
I tell you, Tony's he was really strong, and we knew it would be very tough to beat. If you want to take a chance, this is the place to take a chance.
If a white knuckle ride was that?
I was pissed.
Oh, man, that was. You know, you did a good job when Rick Mears come to you and said, like, that was good. I was like, yes. Mr. Mears comes to me and said that was impressive. I was like, it was gusto. We actually, in the shop, we kept the flag that was in the pagoda, and the flag is completely like in pieces, like 3 or 4 pieces, because of the gust wind that was so strong, and probably the amount of the cold weather and everything. So it was really tough. I remember when he did the laps, like, man, this is going to be tough. We got to take everything out, and we did it. We really took a chance. I remember playing with the bars, and it was a very, very strong one. And whew, that was one of my actually proudest moments. You know, when you really go to a place that if you got to do it. I remember I didn't breathe for at least 2 laps. It was.
I don't have that problem.
You don't have that problem?
Nah, I can do 4 laps without breathing.
So it was really tough, but it was a proud moment.
We know that Indy represents the pinnacle of success in this sport, Helio, you won it in 2001, 2002, 2009. Tony, you broke through and got the victory, 4 years ago in 2013. Let's enjoy a few of the victory lane moments between these two at Indianapolis.
Helio Castroneves wins the 85th Indianapolis 500-mile race.
I'm amazed. I mean, this crowd is unbelievable, and I'm just so happy to win it. I've been dreaming with it. Let's go back up to the tower now.
Castroneves wins the 86th Indianapolis 500.
We did it again. We did it again. What a job, huh?
The three-time Winners Club. There's a brand new member, and his name is Helio Castroneves.
Let's celebrate now. Yeah, baby. Woo!
Look who's first, Tony Kanaan. Contact yellow is out.
You're now a winner of the Indianapolis 500, my friend.
I'm speechless, I think, Vince. This is it, man. I made it. Finally, I'm going to put my ugly face in that trophy.
Tony used the term magical, and I think you get a sense of that. And of course, you know, we love this sport. We love Indianapolis and all the things that go with it. As an outgrowth of winning that race, what are the best opportunities that have come to each of your lives that may be directly attributed to winning the Indy 500?
Well, I am where I am today, running for one of the best teams in IndyCar because of that. Because until then, we had a very small team. There was a team that, you know, we fought really hard to actually, that year, we're not going to finish the year. We didn't have enough budget to do it. Jimmy and I and Sully were struggling to find the funding, and winning that race changed my life, changed my career again, and I'm very fortunate of that. And we were talking at the table with McCain and the NTT guys. We met the night before that race, which they were not even my sponsors at the time. I had the story with Chip for many years that, you know, I regretted saying no to him a few years back. Then Dario got the job. And so, yeah, it changed my life in many ways, apart from fulfilling my lifetime dream, my promise to my dad. It kept me going, and I'm still here. So it can't be any more special than that.
How about you, Helio?
Oh, besides opening the door for Dancing with the Stars, you know, that I think that...
I still love that yellow coat.
I know,
that you wore,
it was incredible. I still have it, and I do fit on that one too.
What are you trying to say?
That I'm in good shape.
Oh, okay.
All right, so that was a good comeback.
Yeah, baby.
But I'm pretty much the same. Today I'm with Team Penske, obviously because we have the same goals, and we want to achieve something that probably want to be part of history. And I think only 3 guys, and one of them is here, which is Ricky Mears winning 4. So today, pretty much the same. My name changed. They don't call me the Castroneves. They call me the Indy 500 champ. And I think every time you achieve that goal, especially in that race, everybody can say the same thing.
And of course, we've talked a lot about Indianapolis and what it represents, but of course, it's a season that's full of different challenges, and one of them is this weekend on the mile here at Phoenix International Raceway. The unique dogleg on the backstretch.
Yeah.
What kind of a challenge does that offer to a driver, a veteran driver, or a young driver?
It used to be a little harder. Now it's not so bad. I actually enjoy the track that used to be back then. But I don't know. For us, it's not much of a difference, is it?
You asking me a question?
Well, yeah. Is it?
I think, I don't know, I prefer the old layout of the track, to be honest, but this is just, actually for us, it's not really a corner, but it actually, the way they did that corner now, you have less of a chance of passing.
Passing, yeah.
You know, going into turn 3, but.
Having competed now at St. Pete, Long Beach, and at Barber in Alabama last weekend, do you welcome a chance to get back on an oval?
Oh yeah, yes, I can't wait to be back.
Oh yeah, I mean it's great to be back in this place. Hopefully it will be a very good race. I know the Honda guys were sandbagging now in the spring training.
Yeah,
Very
right.
good, boys. Well done. But it's okay. we got the good car too, so we can
We
make
know
things
that.
happen.
No, for me, this track was my first IndyCar win. It was the first win for Honda. So I have a lot of good memories here. So it's a good place.
Well, we look forward to it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's say thank you to two amazing legends, 20 years in our sport, doing marvelous things.
Thank you.
Tony, Helio, thank you so very much.
Thank you, Gary.
very much.
I want to thank you, all of you guys. This is very, very nice, especially IndyCar, the entire team, marketing team that put this together for us. As I said, he started TK20, and I came along the way, you know. So I still don't know why he want to make a big deal of it. But to be honest,
It's my problem.
I know, but no. But my point is, this is very touch. It's an incredible feeling to be here and see all of the friends, and this is a family. IndyCar Series is a family, and hopefully we're going to be seeing each other for many, many more years.
Thank you, guys. Thank my teammates for coming. I know you guys think this is painful. I feel you, but thank you. Thank boss, Mike, everybody, John.
Great ambassadors of the sport, and we thank you for
Thank you.
20 years of memories.
Thank you.
Stay put, don't run away. Mark Miles has got a presentation here.
Gary, great job. I don't know how you got these guys to open up like that. You might have pulled in the bridle a little bit when they got into polishing the helmets, but
Sorry.
That's Dario.
That's it is what it is.
anyway, I know for me and for everybody here and for those watching, this was a special evening, and to have you guys open up, really open up, and share those thoughts was fantastic. This is not, we got something for you. This is a special time. It's not the retirement time. So you're going to get a timepiece, but it's the penultimate one. You get another one someday in the future when
That's when it's over.
when it's retirement time.
That's it, buddy. You got to get out of here.
But our friends at Tag Heuer have allowed us to present these to you. These are special edition Indy limited watches. These are two of only 500 around the world. They have the steel bracelet, the Indy logo on the dial, and the rest of the watch. So that's from the 102nd. And
Thank
we
you.
hope you guys have a great May.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks for sharing with us
Appreciate this.
tonight.
Thank you.
Cool.
Now I can use it. I don't have a watch deal, so I can use this. That's going to be great.
Thank you all for being here. We'll see you at the track tomorrow. Guys, thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. That was great. Thank you very much. Gary.
Oh, you got the watch.
And there's all kinds of reasons to be scared and run away.